Charlotte Lynch is in the actual studio. There is a rule in journalism that the journalist should never become the story. But it is a rule that is occasionally quite rightly broken, not by the journalist, but by authorities treating journalists in a certain way. And that happened to Charlotte yesterday in the most scandalous of circumstances. I use that word advisedly. The idea of a journalist being arrested for doing journalism is something that should strike a chill into everybody's heart. And you may not like this, but it is substantively and substantially different from protesters being arrested for protesting. It is possible to break the law while protesting. It is possible to breach the peace while protesting. It is possible to commit crimes while protesting, either deliberately or accidentally. But to be arrested for covering a protest is an entirely different kettle of fish, and a profoundly ugly one. Neither was she the only person to be arrested over the last couple of days. And the point seems to me to be that you were on a footbridge observing events when your proverbial collar was felt by the police. To talk me through the very first moments. Presumably you thought it was going to be a relatively run-of-the-mill exchange. It would be what are you doing here? I'm doing this. Here's my press card. All right, carry on. Keep your head down. Have a nice day. Hello, hello, hello.
I've had dozens of those exchanges with police, and that is the exact reason why I carry a press card, and you show it to them, and there's usually no further questions asked, and they let you carry on your way. In fact, the reason given for my arrest is that I was witnessed taking videos of the protester who was up on the gantry. I wasn't down on the motorway. I was, as you say, on a bridge over the motorway, on a pavement. I wasn't blocking any roads. But no sooner had these two male officers approached me to ask who I was, and I'd shown them my press card and explained that I arrived in a car to cover the protest, which was warned about the evening prior publicly. A handcuff was banged onto my left wrist and my phone was snatched out of my right hand.
What did they say while they were doing that?
They just said, right, we're arresting you on suspicion of conspiracy to commit a public nuisance. And then my rights were read to me. Because
you knew the protesters were going to be there, the police extrapolate from that some form of collusion.
Do you know that was never explained either?
Okay.
That wasn't explained. But, I mean, it's hardly a conspiracy when the protest group themselves published the evening prior that they were going to be doing that. They were also in a similar location the day before. And all it took was a quick call to their press team to get from them the evening before a roundabout
You don't have to justify yourself to me or to anyone, although obviously that wouldn't include these particular police officers. There is a number on the back of your press card from the National, I always get confused whether it's ACPO or the National Police Chiefs Council.
National Police Chiefs Council.
I mean, it is actually part of the package, as it were.
It says the National Police Chiefs Council recognised the holder of this card as a bona fide news gatherer to ring and check this, to verify this hotline. That apparently took them 5 hours.
Filming something being a fairly neat example of gathering news.
Yes, absolutely.
One would imagine. It's a tricky question, really, but do you think they were acting with a degree of autonomy, these officers, or do you think they had been told to round up reporters? Because it had happened to a cameraman and a photographer the documentary maker, I think Nick spoke to yesterday, had happened the previous day.
Yeah. Do you know what? They made 3 arrests yesterday. Hertfordshire Constabulary, one of which was myself. And I've covered these protests for a long time, all throughout October when they were demonstrating. And the police came under a lot of criticism for, the way they dealt with the protesters and the length of time it took. Now, they're quite quick to then put out, well, we've taken this action and we've made all of these arrests. Now, 3 arrests looks better than 2.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And it just felt as though these officers wanted to make an arrest, and the one other person they could have arrested who was up on the gantry, they were in the process of bringing down. And where I was, there were no other journalists there at that point. The protesters were at different locations of the M25 and other journalists were at other locations.
Do you think they probably just wanted a collar, regardless?
It seemed
possibly.
It
I
seemed
shouldn't ask you to speculate unduly